I understand if you can't answer this question, but damn it, I'm going to ask anyway. Is there a fight that Dana White wants to see in the UFC above all else in 2025?
So I get asked this every year. And this year, it would be Aspinall Jones.
Jon Jones definitely wants to fight. Just when and where is what we're working on now.
Do you feel confidence? I think you said Jon.
I'm very
in
confident
summer on first
that fight happens. Yeah.
Summer.
Yeah.
The heavyweight showdown everyone has been clamoring for may finally be on the way. Dana White just revealed a bombshell news update on Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall, and it may change the entire UFC landscape. Before his recent confirmation, Dana White had already been stoking fan hopes for a future Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall showdown. Throughout the lead up to the originally booked Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic bout, White continually reminded everyone that Aspinall was in the mix and complimented his performances. Even though he benched Aspinall for the legacy fight with Stipe, White insisted that the Brit's time would arrive. His repeated comments quietly reassured fans that Aspinall was not being forgotten.
Do you still want to see the winner of this fight Tom Aspinall to unify the heavyweight title?
Was that for me?
Yeah.
What's the question?
Do you want to see the winner fight Tom?
The winner should absolutely fight Tom. Who's got the next question?
Knock it off.
Question for Michael Chandler. All in.
I think fans are dreaming about Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall. That's the fight I think they're dreaming about.
Yes.
I think that if Stipe wins the fight or Jon Jones wins the fight, the way that both of those guys are wired, I think they fight Aspinall. So we'll see.
Dana White himself confirmed during an interview with Stephen A. Smith that he really wants to see the Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall bout take place. Dana recognized increasing fan clamor and complimented Aspinall's destructive skill set and termed him one of the most thrilling heavyweights of the division. Dana made it clear that although Jones versus Stipe was initially the priority, the Aspinall fight is too good to miss. His outspoken comments reaffirmed his individual desire to make the bout happen.
I understand if you can't answer this question, but damn it, I'm going to ask anyway. Is there a fight that Dana White wants to see in the UFC above all else in 2025?
So I get asked this every year. And this year, it would be Aspinall Jones.
Furthermore, Dana White continued to admit that Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall is a fight in the making, declaring it a heavyweight clash with enormous proportions for the sport. During his interview, Dana also confirmed that Jon Jones has had some personal tension with Aspinall, calling it a behind-the-scenes tension in a subtle feud. He admitted that working with Jon has been troublesome at times, particularly when working on matchups that he does not wholly support, but emphasized the significance of the fight.
Jones versus Aspinall, is that sort of the big priority, and you think that's the biggest fight the promotion can put on in 2025?
100%. I think it's probably the biggest fight in heavyweight history, and it's a massive fight in the history of the company too. It's a big fight.
Yeah, we know Tom Aspinall's down. Jones is kind of like on the fence, or at least that's what he said publicly.
Right.
Have you talked
It's weird.
How confident?
What's weird about that? Let me tell you what's weird about that. So usually, those guys say that shit behind the scenes and not publicly. Jon says that shit publicly, but not behind the scenes. Jon is a very unique individual to deal with.
Would you guarantee 100% we see that fight?
Yeah, I'll say 100%.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ariel Helwani also chimed in, exposing that according to what he has been told, Jon Jones is the main individual holding up the Tom Aspinall bout. Helwani highlighted that every indication is that the UFC is prepared and ready to make the fight a reality. He expressly said that if the fight fails to come together, the blame should not rest with the promotion. Per Helwani, Jones is the one who's hesitant, perhaps because of timing, risk, or unresolved problems with Aspinall's growing threat to the division.
And what's being told to me is they have made every effort in very good faith to make this fight happen. Now, obviously, when fights don't come to fruition, there's a multitude of reasons as to why fights don't happen. But in my opinion, if this fight doesn't happen, it's not because of the UFC. It's not because of Tom Aspinall as well. I think ultimately who will decide whether or not this fight happens or not is Jon Jones. Now, that's not some big breaking news, but I say that to say, yes, if Jon wants the fight to happen today, and I don't mean like the fight to actually be fought today, but like done deal today, it could be a done deal today. I believe that the UFC has met all the demands in a very favorable way for both guys. They both have demands. We know what Tom wants to a degree, and we know what Jon wants to a degree. I think ultimately it's on him. Now, we don't need to get into the whole, like, at what point do they need to pull the plug on this?
Meanwhile, Tom Aspinall was not shy when talking about Jon Jones, flat out accusing him of playing the media to dictate the public narrative. Aspinall stated that Jones cons the media by appearing open to challenge publicly, but avoiding actual threats like him in private. He was frustrated by the conflicting signals from Jones's team and doubted Jones's willingness to fight best-in-class opponents. Aspinall's comments fanned the feud and further amplified demands for the bout.
Is Jon Jones scared to fight you?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the thing with Jon is conning the public, man.
Whoa. And Logan Paul, it's his favorite fighter.
Yeah. Oh, is it really?
Well,
yeah. Listen.
I mean, he's definitely top 3. He's definitely top 3.
Absolutely. I'm not disputing that he's an amazing fighter. I think the fact that he didn't want to fight Ngannou for 3 years, and now he's not wanting to fight me for over a year. And the way he manipulates the media and the public is super smart. I'm not taking anything away from him. But do I think he's scared to take the tough fights at this stage in his career? Absolutely.
Can you understand that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Tom Aspinall has further confirmed that he has worked tirelessly in preparation for a possible showdown with Jon Jones. So much so that he has created an entire game plan designed specifically for Jones's special style of fighting. Aspinall demonstrated he studied Jones in detail, deconstructing his wrestling, striking patterns, and cage control to be prepared when the time comes. He underlined that he's not waiting around for the fight, he's actually training for it. Aspinall's tactical approach reflects how seriously he's taking this possible encounter.
Anyway, first of all, we'll talk about Jon Jones. What he generally does with this style is he's very long, 6'4". I mean, not as tall for a heavyweight, but he fights kind of here and does a lot of this kind of stuff. And his attacks are very varied. So he'll go this way on the front leg, he'll go here, he'll also bring the head kicks up, he'll fake the takedowns, come in with the spinning elbows. Also, he's grappling. So if Joe goes against the fence, a lot of the time what Jones does really, really well is once he gets his hands together on a double leg, it is so difficult to break that. So he'll be here, he'll set up the double. Once his hands are locked and he starts to pull his opponent away, he almost always finishes the takedown. Then, as we've seen against Cyril Gane, when his opponents sit up, he's got such a strong front headlock from here, sprawling his leg back. When he gets to this spot, he's heavy here, and his ground and pound is some of the best that we've ever seen. Some of the best elbows in MMA, period.
Even with all his preparation and planning, Tom Aspinall has exhibited evident frustration over the Jon Jones fight still not happening. Having spent time analyzing Jones's style and constructing a full game plan, the failure to make progress has obviously taken its toll. In interviews, his tone and body language show increasing frustration, as he believes he's done all he can on his side to deserve and prepare for the fight. The continued uncertainty has only added to his public criticism and disillusionment.
Jon Jones, you don't know where you stand. Dana said it's the biggest fight in UFC history now, so...
Yeah, I've had enough talking about it, mate. I'm honestly bored of it. We'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll just see. I'm ready to fight whenever they tell me, so just let me know. I'll be there.
Everyone thinks you're a bit of like a quintessential good guy. Could we see a heel turn at some point in the MMA world?
We might do. Who knows? Who knows?
In spite of his hesitation about the bout, Jon Jones categorically denied ducking Tom Aspinall. Jones explained that it's not ducking the challenge, but choosing to fight in a way that adds more value to his legacy, such as fighting opponents who have more awards. He did acknowledge Aspinall's talent, but stressed that his concern is matchups that will establish his standing in history. Jones debunked the belief that he's afraid or attempting to avoid a deserving foe, repeating that it's simply a career decision.
So I'm not ducking Tom Aspinall. If I failed to fight Stipe, I would be ducking Stipe because we contractually have been signed up to fight over a year ago. This is Stipe's position. The Tom narrative came out of nowhere. He won a belt, and now suddenly I'm ducking him. I've never had negotiations to even fight him, if this makes sense. So the fans are just ignoring it. They're ignoring all logic, and they just have finally found someone that they think can compete with me, and everyone wants to see it now.
Being on this point, Jon Jones recently went public and admitted that a fight against Tom Aspinall doesn't really appeal to him. Jones clarified that he doesn't believe the matchup brings much value to his legacy, adding that he'd prefer to fight a more accomplished fighter, such as Alex Pereira. He contended that a fight with someone who has proven themselves to be a top contender or champion would be more meaningful in terms of continuing his career story and contributing to his already legendary status.
I guess the clarifying question then is, if Dana and Hunter do come to you after this fight, the figures make sense to you, would you then be open to fighting Tom Aspinall, or are you categorically thinking, he does nothing for me, I will not fight that guy?
He does nothing for me. He does nothing for me. If you're a person that wants to see me really challenged, then I get it. 7 years younger, like 35 pounds bigger than me, right? I get it. It's like, wow, this Jon's so good. We finally found someone way younger and way bigger than him. I get that narrative. But for me, if you were my manager, if you were on my team, why not fight against Pereira, a guy who's the same age as you, and we walk around the same exact size? Business-wise, it makes more sense. Fight the, I'm gonna call him this, fight the nobody that may be more dangerous, or fight the guy with all the accolades who's incredibly dangerous, but it actually will affect your legacy.
In reply to the comments from Jon Jones, Alex Pereira had an interest in meeting Jones as a future option. Pereira did admit that fighting Jones would be a huge opportunity, and he's up for the task, having established himself already as a middleweight contender, and now venturing up into light heavyweight. Pereira feels a bout against Jones is a natural career path. He said that if the UFC makes the fight available, he would be willing to accept it, adding yet another layer of intrigue to Jones's next opponent.
And then I know, obviously, like, you don't want to look past the fight ahead of you, but if you had your choice down the road, would you rather have a fight with Dricus at 205 or Jon Jones at heavyweight?
Well, not looking too past ahead, you know what I mean? Like, honestly, these things didn't came to my mind which one, but what I think for the future that I have in hand is either Dricus or Jon Jones, or even fighting Alexander Usyk in boxing. Those I see possibly happen, and there's a possibility. Doesn't depend on me, it depends on the UFC. So whatever the UFC want me to do, I'll do it.
However, Chael Sonnen commented on the Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall scenario, giving his own opinion. Sonnen opined that Jon Jones would be reluctant to accept the fight because of what is at stake, given his age and position in his career. Sonnen noted that if Jones lost to a younger up-and-coming star like Aspinall, it could be devastating to his legacy and career in the UFC.
Jon has a concern. They don't know what to do with me if I'm not champion. And if Tom beats me and he doesn't give me a rematch, or they won't guarantee me a rematch, what do they plan to do with me? I gained an understanding to the inside of Jon. If that in fact is accurate information, that Jon is worried about an immediate rematch and doesn't believe he's going to get it, can look at the board and see that he's 36 and on his way out, and this guy is 20-something on his way up. And he even questions why they left the belt with him, to the point that he's saying if they knew what to do with me not as champion, they'd have already done it. That's very objective. So is it as simple as guaranteeing Jon a rematch? Very interesting point.
Daniel Cormier also commented on the situation, saying that Jon Jones would be more willing to accept the bout with Tom Aspinall if the UFC gives him a great financial reward. Cormier assumed that Jones, a longtime, highly paid fighter, could be motivated by a big paycheck, given the high-profile nature of the fight. He suggested that money has frequently been a leading factor in Jones's choices, and a big payday can persuade him to enter the octagon against Aspinall.
This whole Tom Aspinall, Jon Jones thing, for lack of a better word, is just weird. For me, it's just weird. Like, I don't get it. If I give him the opportunity to fight me, I want to be compensated. I want to say it. I want that you money. Jon Jones shooting straight. Because at the end of the day, guys, I will tell you, not afraid. Tom Aspinall to Jon Jones is just another guy that he would fight and that he believes he can beat. But what he does want is to get paid. And I think he recognizes the dangers in the fight. I mean, when this line opened, Jon Jones was an underdog. Jon Jones was the underdog. I don't even know if there's ever been a time in his career where someone has been favored to beat Jon Jones. and I think that concerns him.
However, it now appears that the much-hyped Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall bout is officially set to go down this summer, with Dana White himself breaking the news. After months of rumors and to and fro, White confirmed that the UFC is proceeding with the matchup, much to the delight of fans. With both fighters now committed to the bout, the summer fight is likely to be a blockbuster event, as Jones defends his legacy against the rising star, Aspinall.
He was saying, like, John's side is holding up the fight. What is he referring to there?
Well, I think that, listen, Jon Jones definitely wants to fight. Just when and where is what we're working on now.
Do you feel confident? I think you said John.
I'm very
in
confident
summer on first
that fight happens. Yeah.
Summer.
Yeah.
Even Chael Sonnen has revealed that the Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall bout is officially going to take place. Sonnen, who has been following all the latest updates closely, reported receiving confirmation from several people in the MMA world. He was excited about the bout, pointing out how the bout is sure to be one of the most exciting in recent UFC history.
So, Chael, are you breaking news right now that Jon Jones is fighting Tom Aspinall at International Fight Week? Are you confident enough to say that you think that's what's happening?
No, I am confident enough to tell you that that fight is done, though. That fight is agreed all the way down to the date. That I do have a confidence to tell you. International Fight Week would make perfect sense. I personally, just in my heart, I always thought they were going to go back to New York.
Jones said he needs 4 months. Now you're going to do it in...
I'm telling you, this Jon Jones business, Jones will say a lot of things to the media. When he gets that phone call, here's the guy you're fighting. Do you understand? Yes. And that is what he will say. All the other reports are not true. Jon has come out. He's been a troll. He's had some fun. He even tried to negotiate in the media. Privately, he takes that phone call. It's yes or anything else that comes out of his mouth. Any answer that's not yes is not yes. But that did not happen. That is a false report. Jon Jones has not ducked this fight. I wish he did. I'd love to bury him. He didn't.
About the upcoming Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall bout, Dricus Du Plessis commented and requested that the fans be respectful towards Jon Jones' amazing record. Du Plessis recognized Jones' supremacy in the UFC and spoke about how, considering what he has accomplished, Jones doesn't have to prove anything else. He pointed out that Jones already has an illustrious legacy as being among the best MMA fighters of all time, and the pressure should not only fall on him to keep proving himself. Du Plessis' statement was meant to keep in mind the gargantuan career Jones has established.
Aspinall is such an incredible fighter. He is the next generation, 100%. Seeing a heavyweight move like a middleweight, he can strike, he can grapple, he can wrestle, but so can Jon Jones. And everybody's like, no, he's going to beat Jon Jones. How do you say that? Nobody's been able to do that. Every time people say Jon Jones, this fight, Jon Jones knows how to win. Jon Jones, everybody said Cyril Gane, at heavyweight. Cyril Gane is a real heavyweight. Jon Jones is looking out of shape. Went in there and made it look like child's play. Jon Jones is a different animal in his mind. That makes a champion. But then you have Tom Aspinall. The same, he has that mentality too. Young, hungry. I mean, Jon Jones at his age doesn't need to prove anything. He's done it all. At some stage, you have to give over you have to give it over. Yeah, at some stage. And Jon Jones is just one of those guys where he has beaten, and everybody's like, you have to fight Tom Aspinall. You don't want to fight Aspinall. Yeah, but remember how many of those Aspinalls he's been at the top of the game for how long? Exactly. He's taken out guys coming in, guys that's retired already, that were up and coming that he's beaten. He's like the Valentino Rossi of the UFC. Like, people come, gets close, beats him, like generations. So he doesn't have to prove anything more. And with Tom Aspinall, I do believe that other than Jones, is not a heavyweight.
The Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall fight has already made many people sit up and take notice, including former UFC heavyweight champion Cain Velasquez. Velasquez, after taking a look at the fight, went on record saying that he predicts Jon Jones to emerge victorious. He complimented Jones's skill and fight IQ, saying that his experience and ability to adjust in times of high-pressure situations would prove to be the clincher against Aspinall. Velasquez's approval further creates much anticipation for the bout, with people now wanting to know how Jones will fare against the rising star Aspinall.
You think he beats Jon Jones? Do you think he beats Jon?
No, I don't think he does.
Why not?
So me just watching him, I kind of see his pattern a little bit, and his striking, the way he comes in and strikes. I I think John sees it too.
Okay.
So I think with that, just because again, he studies, man. He does his homework. You know, he's a master at this. He analyzes things. He studies you over and over again. I think just for that reason, he's gonna know what to do. So I don't think he beats Jon. No.
Despite being close to Tom Aspinall, Paddy Pimblett also backed Jon Jones, opting for him to emerge victorious in the much-hyped bout. Pimblett, known for his straightforward views, accepted Aspinall's skill, but still gave credit to Jones on account of his extensive experience and expertise in the fight game. Pimblett's decision to align himself with Jones, even though he is friends with Aspinall, provides some interesting context to the hype since it demonstrates respect for Jones throughout the MMA circuit.
Do you think the Aspinall-Jones fight happens?
It's got to happen. I was sitting next to Tom the other week at the UFC in London and talking to him about it.
How do you think that plays out if they fight?
I'll be honest, Tom's a friend. I love Tom. He's one of the coolest dudes in the whole of MMA. Even though Jones is getting old, I just can't pick against Jon Jones. The one thing I do think Jon Jones has got the best in the world and the best ever is his fight IQ. He has a perfect game plan to beat that person. As much as I love Tom and I want Tom to win, I couldn't pick against Jon Jones. It's just something I couldn't do.
Don't miss the clash of the Titans this summer. Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall is finally underway, and everyone in the MMA circuit is going wild. Who will win? Subscribe for the latest news.